You are now tuned in to Melanin Confidential.
Hi, friends. We are back at it again.
Yes. Hello, people.
What's up, y'all?
Excited to bring you episode 2, talking about friendships today. But before we get started, we have our current happenings as far as what's going on in each of our lives. So we're going to kick it off with the slice of life.
I guess I will start. So what is going on in Shay Jovan's world? Not much. Not much going on over here. Your girl is out here building her wig collection.
Come on now.
Trying to have different personalities for this hot girl summer. And so,
wig.
we starting out with a little, Beyonce feel today. Y'all can't see me, but that's what I'm giving off.
Hair flipping, everything.
But yeah, just something fun and quirky. So that's what's going on with me.
Well, it's your girl V, and I actually had a beautiful weekend this past weekend. My girls know already. My grandparents came to visit, as well as my dad and my stepmom, aka Smom. That's what we call her. So yeah, it was so nice. We didn't really do too much, you guys. We just usually kind of veg out, watch some movies, eat good, share stories from back in the days. So I enjoyed them so much. And it was nice to just kind of take a little mini hiatus from social media because subconsciously I do it. Yeah, but I really like to relish in the moment when it comes to me spending time with my family. So very nice.
So me, I have gotten back into my self-care. I've been getting facials and things lately. I'm trying to be glowing for the wedding, guys.
Yes.
So that's pretty much all I got going on, just trying to pour into myself a little bit more because we all need that me time sometimes. All right, so now that you're caught up in what's going on in our lives, let's get back to today's topic of friendships.
Yes. So, as Chelsea said, we are going to be talking about friendships. And so, to kind of start it off, I think I will pose a question. And so, what is the definition of a friend to you guys?
There's so many levels to friendship, but if I had to say my definition of a friend is someone I feel like supports me, that I can really turn to emotionally, that I can have a good time with. Supports what I have going on in my life, whether that be my relationship, is able to talk to me respectfully, give me back constructive feedback on things that they don't like. Or I shouldn't even say constructive feedback because that sounds really technical or business like.
But I think it's true. I don't think that that's a bad word to say constructive because it comes from a place of love. They want you to be better as a person.
Exactly.
You want your friends to be honest with you.
They gotta be real, right? Don't just have me out here looking any type of way.
Right.
If I'm in the wrong, let me know. But make sure we all do that in love.
Right.
And I definitely want a friend that sharpens me. Iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
So, we got to be on the same level of trying to build each other up. Because if we aren't on the same level, I don't know if we could be friends.
Not at all.
This is true. I definitely agree with Chelsea. I definitely feel like you want somebody trustworthy. You want somebody who's going to ride or die for you. Be with
loyalty,
you thick and
man.
thin. Definitely loyalty is super important.
For real, you need that.
True, yes. I would also
by.
say just some more lighthearted stuff. People with a sense of humor, I absolutely love. Not taking life too seriously all the time. You want somebody where you can kind of be able to escape from reality. Call your good sis and be like, girl, I got to get up out of here. Can we go get a drink?
Here's
or
my
can we
cup.
chat? Yes.
Pour over with the tea.
Okay. Yes, tea time. So, yeah, I definitely agree with that. And then I would also say, people who are just, open-minded and non-judgmental. I feel like having an open mind sets you up for, a better friendship in general because you guys aren't judging each other or you guys aren't upset when you guys disagree on things.
Yeah.
You know? So
Genuine people. I forgot to add that too.
Yeah.
for sure.
I think it really ties back to kind of what you said, Chelsea, in terms of one of the bigger characteristics that you listed was respect. So I guess what my definition of a friend would be what you guys pretty much said. Like, all of that encompasses a good friend to me. I definitely kind of echoing some of the same things you guys said. Like, I feel like it has to be somebody who I can relate to in some type of way whatsoever.
Sure.
Like, I'm not saying we have to like the same things or anything like that. I actually prefer to have friends that are slightly different from me because I like to learn. Definitely somebody spiritual, like prayer,
Yes.
like
Yes.
That's
to know
important.
that you have
to
friends,
have that in common.
Yes, friends that will pray for you or say, you
Mhm.
know what, look, girl, you might be feeling some type of way, but let's just pray it out. So
Yeah.
I would say that's something I would probably add to. And then I was always told that you want to be around people who are a little bit more elevated than you in certain areas because that makes you to strive to want to be where they are.
Yeah, that's a
So,
good point.
I know throughout all of our years, like we're all, late 20s, 30s, things like that. What are some of the expectations that you guys have for your friends?
Well, for me, I would honestly say I don't have any like criteria per se
Mhm.
because I know friendships are valued at different levels.
Right.
And friendships mean different things to different people. I think my only expectation is good communication. That's
Yes.
it. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Just
So
let me know how you're
important.
feeling. Let me know if you're good, if you're not good, if something's bothering you,
Yeah.
if I did something to offend you, like I want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than like you letting something fester and then it starts to spew over in your relationship on a day-to-day basis. Like you're
Right.
carrying resent for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
then-
That's good.
Yeah, and I would say even full transparency.
Yeah.
Like we've as a group have experienced things like that because we're
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
learning each other's communication styles, business
sure.
wise, and that line can sometimes blur in friendship because we are friends first. So
Yeah.
that communication piece is really big, V. So I would definitely say that that's
Yeah.
a good expectation to have.
Yeah, and I agree too. And just to kind of add to that, not just like the communication piece, but the honesty and then understanding.
Yes.
Because you can be honest with someone and have good communication, but that understanding piece is important too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so
Good point, Joe.
you got to be able to feel what the other person is saying and be receptive to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The understanding thing is very, very big. We can agree to disagree,
Yeah.
but more so know that it's coming from a place where I understand you. I might not agree with you, but I understand your point of view, or vice versa. I think that's very important for
Exactly.
growth in a friendship. So
Yeah.
what type of friend do you think you guys are? I know, I have personal stories from the both of you as to what type of friends you guys are, but let's tell the people, like, what kind of friends are we?
I think I'm the supportive friend for sure. I feel like I'm always there if you need me, whether it's a shoulder to cry on or you just want to watch a movie because you're bored or you got an event going on. I'm always going to pull up
Yeah.
and be there.
Absolutely.
So, and I love to have a good talk. Like if you just need to talk, like I said, I'm there.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I think, girl, you be everywhere. I don't know how
I
you
know,
do it. You
that's
look
why I'm
around,
like-
wonder,
You do,
"What
y'all."
pencil this person in?"
Right? That's why I'm starting to pour into me more. You know, I've been pouring in a little too much out to other people. No, I'm just kidding.
Gotta find that balance. sis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. And I think one thing to add to, like, earlier you were talking about how having, a spiritual friend, somebody that's going to pray for you. I feel like I'm that person as well, too.
I think as far as me, I kind of already told y'all a little bit if y'all looked on social media,
Yeah.
but I am definitely like the accountability partner. Like I'm the person who honestly will help you in situations. Like we're not going to talk every day. I'm not the friend that's going to call you and blow up your phone every day. But for me, I definitely feel like I'm the confidant. Like I'm typically the friend where even if I hadn't heard from you in months, you're going to call me and be like, hey, can I come over and talk to you?
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time. And, I kind of am the voice of reason.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, I love having that title, to be quite honest. I do like to pour into my friends. I do like to exchange good energy with my friends. So, I try to be there for them when it counts the most.
Yeah.
You might not see me all the time, but when you're going through something rough, you can never say V wasn't there.
I
Yeah.
can attest to that, for real.
Yeah.
I would say for me, I think I am a generous friend.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I will give whatever I have,
Mhm.
whether that's monetary but y'all don't come ask me for money. But,
What's your
but I'm
Cash App?
saying, like, but no, I'm just very generous and always willing to help in any
Mhm.
way that I can. So I would say that is probably, for me, I think just in friendships, that's also been a good thing, but also a bad thing when the wrong person gets exposed to that for me,
Yep.
because I have been taken advantage of, which I'm sure we'll get into that later. But yeah, I would say that's where I stand as far as friendships go. And then even with a bigger thing, I think as in our community, we've kind of been circling back to like women empowerment. How do y'all feel like friendship has affected our community as a whole?
Yeah, so I personally feel like we need community as humans. We're not meant to walk this earth by ourselves, whether that's with a significant other or your girlfriend, guy friend, whatever.
Yeah,
You need somebody else to walk through life with.
absolutely.
So it's so important. You need somebody else that you can talk to, that you can have fun with. You need that. You need that confidant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I would say in terms of like friendship and community being important, just being able, like I said earlier, to escape from reality. We get so bogged down in our everyday lives and we go through so much. It's just nice sometimes to have a sounding board.
Yeah.
Just to have
for
an
sure.
outlet to express yourself. That way you can get it out of your system. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then you can move on about your day or
Mhm.
about, your life or whatever the case may be. So, yeah. What do you think, Shay?
I would say there is always strength in numbers.
Mhm.
So I do believe that, as a culture, I love to see when we all come together. When I see a group of women and we're all just cheering each other on, or either vice
Say
versa,
that
a
again.
group
Positivity,
of men.
being
Yes.
positive and
Yeah,
encouraging each
like
other.
when you see that, it's something that's really powerful about that.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And then, Chelsea, I know you talked about pretty much there's different categories of friends. You have this person for this, and you have that person for that.
Yep.
How would you guys categorize your own levels of friendship, or how you define that?
Yeah, so I used to think you could only have like one best friend. I used to think
Right.
that.
I think
Like,
we've
this is
all,
my
I think we've
best
all
friend.
been there.
Right?
Yeah.
So I feel like you would start with, for me, it starts with an associate.
Mm-hmm.
So an associate would be somebody who I'm kind of getting to know. We're cool, but I haven't really like, opened up Pandora's box, let you know my secrets or like
Yeah.
personal things that I have going on in my life. But you're just very surface level, like high and by,
Right.
like I know you, I see you, I respect you.
Yeah.
Hello. Then there is a friend. And so I feel like with a friend, it's like we're cool, but maybe, we might go get drinks every now and then. I'm not going to let you see me cry, though. I probably won't tell you
You're
too
gonna be a
much.
thug.
Yeah. I might not, tell you too much of my business.
Right.
We might even go out and have fun, and turn up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I feel like there's close friends, which obviously you're going to do all those things that you would do with an associate and a friend, but they are open or exposed to a level of you that those two levels don't
Yeah.
have the courtesy of getting to know. A best friend
Mhm.
is like, for me, is like ride or die.
Yeah.
You like ride or die.
Yeah.
Like, we've invested years into this thing.
Mhm.
We have a level of connection to where, like how you were saying, V, you may not speak.
Right.
Like, I'll use an example. My friend Twitty, like, we don't talk every day, but
Hey,
we've
Twitty.
we've been riding probably since ninth grade, since
It's
we
a
were
long
14,
time.
15 years old. And like, I know that if I was in any bind or anything. Like, she lives all the way in California now. I could call her up and I'm sure she would be here with the quickness and vice versa. So
Most def.
I
a
wouldn't
real
even
one.
call her a best friend anymore. She's more like a sister to me. So
Right.
like sometimes friends transition and become your family.
They
And
really
so,
do.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
have to say that. That's my levels.
Levels.
Yeah.
Levels to this.
Yeah, I think mine are similar to you, but I would say with the associates, I would go a little past like high and by for me personally. Like I can go out, maybe grab a drink with you, or maybe go grab a bite to eat. It may not move past that. It's like surface level to me. Like we just keep it basic. Maybe we can go out and have a good time, but that's it. You don't really know the ins and outs of my life, what's going on.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, you want to go grab a drink? Surface level conversation type stuff.
Right.
So I would like say almost like my outer circle,
Yeah.
if you will, or like you said, like group outings where you see people. It's
Mhm.
cool to have a good time, but it doesn't go past that.
Yeah.
And then my inner circle, I would definitely agree with you on somebody that has some type of insight into what's going on in my life, not the nitty gritty like details, but they know about my significant other, some things that I have going on outside of work, stuff like that. And then of course you have like the close friends. I definitely agree with you like on that. And then like the best friend, I have one of those too.
Yeah.
Jennifer. Same thing, live in different states and she's become, family. We have such a high respect for one another, even in that moment that we've had hard times. And we try to really break it down and understand and see where we're coming from.
Yeah.
Just like how you do in a relationship that you've been in for a while, like you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
But it takes two, and you have to have that mutual understanding and respect for each other to like make it to that circle or make it to that transition from friends to family,
I think just taking like a slightly different take, I totally agree with both of you guys as far as like, there's associates, there's friends, there's close friends, there's best friends, and then there's that transition into like the family zone.
Yeah.
For me, mine kind of bleed into each other a lot because I don't know if it's like the empath part of me, but even like with associates, say if an associate feels the need to want to tell me something personal and I feel like I could share something personal with them that would make sense of their situation, I tend to do that. So yeah, I feel like the nature of our relationship ultimately like defines how close we are basically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If somebody opens up to me a little bit more, maybe I can potentially see them moving from an associate to a friend.
Yeah.
So people don't always stay in those categories. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it depends. Yeah, like what people want to share or how open people are with you. And, maybe you might realize that your work friend is closer to you than you might have thought because y'all have a lot in common.
Yeah.
Or y'all are dealing with the same things.
Or you spend a lot of time together in the same place.
Exactly. So, what do y'all also think about seasonal and lifetime friendships?
Ooh, that's a pretty heavy one right there.
Yeah, it is.
I know for me personally, I feel like every time I have a milestone birthday, that's when I realize like, okay, these people were in my life for a season versus these people who are actually my lifetime friends.
Yeah.
And so I think I would agree wholeheartedly that people are definitely, they come and they go.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah, and it's okay. And exactly what you're saying, the older I get, the more I realize that sometimes it's not meant for you to hold on to certain people because they came in their life, they performed their purpose, and now it's time for them to move forward.
Yep.
So whether their purpose was to teach you something good or to teach you something that you need to work on, it was served, and so it's time to move on. But then you have those one friends that are just never going to go anywhere, regardless of whatever is going on, what stages you guys may, go through in life, that person is always going to be there. So
I would say for me, to your point, Shay, friendships, especially thinking of them as seasonally, is so hard. When you go into a friendship, you're not thinking like this is going to be something short-lived.
Right.
You realize it after the fact, I think.
Exactly. Sometimes those seasonal friendships hurt a lot worse simply because you do pour a lot into getting to know that person. I mean, it's essentially a piece of you that you're giving somebody. In hopes that, there's going to be some longevity there. I would definitely say that, seasonal friendships are quite difficult. But, the lifetime friendships, they're the foundation of everything. They're the people, like you said, no matter how far away they are, no matter what state they're in, you always know that they have your back. I just definitely feel like when it comes to seasonal stuff, there are lessons to be learned. There's a lot of takeaways that can be positive. And it's good to understand that maybe God is eliminating them out of your life for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Shout-out.
saying? Maybe things have ran its
They're
course.
about to air clap.
Okay, because you know what? Everything has an expiration date.
Mhm.
We don't know the hour, we don't know the time, but nonetheless, it still exists. So enjoy it while it lasts, and when it's ran its course, then, you know, you move on and let bygones be bygones. Like, I hate also when people who had seasonal friendships, like, leave in such a bad place.
Right.
I've always tried to leave my friendships, like my seasonal friendships, where we're like, okay, I'm still rooting for you, sis, but from
Yeah.
a distance, because we're
Yeah.
not seeing eye to eye anymore.
Yeah.
Or if
You
I
know?
see you in public, I want to, you know, if we happen to run into each other, at least speak and it's not
Say hi,
awkward.
yeah.
Sure.
And move on. That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think there can be like two types of seasonal friendships too. Like ones that you may not necessarily intend to be seasonal.
Right.
Because maybe you did expect to, you know, that friendship to develop more, and unfortunately it didn't. Or like Shay, like you said, it served its purpose and that was it. You had a relatable situation or something that brought you together in that time, and then it served its purpose and you had to move on.
Right.
And then I think that there are seasonal friendships that you do have an idea that it's just going to be seasonal, meaning, or even situational, I should say. But for me, I think the difference in seasonal versus lifetime friendships, somebody that's able to walk with you through your different seasons of life, because as you know, we should always be growing as people, and some friends are going to grow with you and some just can't. And it's unfortunate sometimes, but I think if you can, and it may not always end on good terms.
Right.
And that's okay too, as long as you have peace with it and you know that you've done your part.
Yeah.
I know personally, I'm in a place in my life where I'm not going to beg anybody to be my friend.
Speak on it.
Okay.
So,
That
you know.
Either you there or you not. Period.
Exactly. So, like I said, some things end unfortunate. And some things you can just chalk it up to, hey, you know, thanks for being here. But I'm that type of person too. Like if I ever see somebody that I had a seasonal friendship with, it's still love, but it's love from a distance. Yeah, that's what I think. But those lifetime friends, man, when you find them, you definitely have to hold on to them, especially in this culture and environment that we live in now. You got to make sure people are rolling with you for the right reasons.
Because people be giving that fake love.
Exactly. But it always comes out.
Yeah, it does.
It really does.
It does. And then, like, to your point, Chelsea, I also feel like how you were saying, it's not always like a negative thing as to the reason why people are moving on from a seasonal. Like, it could just be like maturity, or it could be lifestyle changes.
Yeah, like
you know what
marriage.
I'm saying? Like, I've been with, like when I was single, there were people in my life who begin to have babies, and they're on their second and third baby, and family life is just a huge priority. So, you know, they never come out, and it was just hard to maintain a solid friendship.
Yeah.
So,
it's natural. Naturally, you transition and things happen.
Absolutely. As far as like real life experiences, can we just go around really quick and shed some light on, you know, people that have been seasonal? We ain't got to get into, you know.
You ain't gotta say no names.
We ain't got to say no names. But, you know, have you dealt with a situation where you've had to, you know, cut somebody off, or it was a seasonal situation?
So I've only had to cut one friend off, like literally call somebody up and be like, hey, like we can't be friends at all. Like that, I've only done that one time where it didn't end naturally or in a fight. And with that situation, I mean, it was just necessary. We were just in two different places in our life, and the way that she was going was just like, I don't want to be involved in any parts of that. We're just, we don't need to be in contact anymore. And she honestly took it really hard.
Did she?
Yeah.
Did she see it coming? Like she?
No, I don't think so, which was kind of odd because I feel like I started to withdraw. You know, naturally when you don't relate to people after a certain point, you don't hang out as much and things like that. But yeah, she took it hard and hung up on me. We were on the phone.
Wow.
But I was at peace with it at the end of the day, and I knew that I made the right decision. And now I think she understands why. I mean, we haven't had a conversation about it, but we've seen each other, and it's respect. You know, we speak, and there's no bad blood there at all. And I never, you know, had ill feelings afterwards as far as like, you know, wishing bad on her. But, you know, sometimes you got to love on people from a distance. So, if you don't agree with people sometimes, you got to do what's best for you.
So as far as I'm gonna take a different approach in this cutting friends off. So I actually did cut a friend off. I cut this friend off because at the time my significant other didn't really like our friendship. And so I actually to this day feel some type of way about that because the guy at the time, we were really, really close. And so to the point where I could see from the outside, of at the time my significant other, I could see like his point of view as to maybe why he felt a little bit of insecurity there, jealousy, or whatever the case may be, because we really did have a strong bond and we would talk for hours. And I'm thinking maybe he wanted to have that with me instead. But I actually regret the way that things ended. So I kind of just like, it was a conversation between me and my significant other at the time. And I kind of just like was like, all right, cool. We just not going to be friends to my significant other. But I never said that to that person that we weren't going to be friends.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was just like, I kind of just like blocked him on my phone.
No.
And then, we just stopped communicating. And I actually regret that to this day. I wish that I probably would have had more of a conversation.
Yeah.
I think I was more so embarrassed behind it.
That makes sense.
It's kind of cool that we still were able to be in communication, not as far as like talking to each other, but we still follow each other on social media, and I am very proud of the man that I see that he has turned into.
Yeah.
He has a family now. He got married, has a child, and while we always used to talk about us being in each other's wedding, and I would say like, I'm going to stand on your side, and he'd be like, no, you're not, But I would say that was a story where I had to cut someone off, but I kind of wish I would have went about it differently.
Wow, that's pretty insightful, sis.
Can I interrupt really quick?
Yeah, go for it.
I thought that was a good point because I didn't even think about like cutting people off, but kind of like ghosting them in a sense.
Yeah.
So that's a different way to look at it. I know for me personally, it was more of like a moral thing.
Yeah.
Like morally, we were just in two different places, and I couldn't rock with that. So that's why I had to pick up the phone and be like, I need you to know.
It's funny. I like the term that you use, Chelsea, because honestly, that brings me to my cutoff.
Oh, okay.
So there was a friend of mine who we were close. I would say we were almost like sisters for a good long while. I helped her when she was in need, as I do with all my friends. And over time, I just felt undervalued. I think it's really important when you begin to feel undervalued and you begin to feel drained and you begin to avoid the calls that you see.
Yeah, it's not mutual friendship.
Exactly, that is telling you something. I just felt like I was giving, and I was never getting anything in return.
Right.
And actually, we had a conversation / fallout about this prior. And then, months later, it was pretty much still the same energy that I was getting from her. So essentially, I ended up kind of ghosting. To me, it wasn't really worth the conversation because we had beat a dead horse.
Yeah.
So as I started to kind of like backpedal and, go into the shadows, I noticed that it's not like she was reaching out or it was just like
colors start
it
coming
was
out.
just like, who's next? Who can I, suck the life out of next?
Right.
And it was really unfortunate, but again, like I only felt like they were reaching out when they needed something from me. So, had to snip.
Man,
Yeah.
that's so important. Like that
Yeah.
mutual level of friendship. Like
It's
you got to
hard.
have somebody that you can pour into, but somebody that's always gonna pour back. So
Yeah, it's
I
kind
feel you
of
on that point.
yeah, and it's kind of crazy. Like I'll share just a quick little gem. So someone once told me about this thing called the rebate method. So pretty much what the rebate method is you pouring into someone as much as they're pouring into you. So you know how you buy something and then you send in your coupon for the rebate and you're getting it back.
Yeah.
Like I like the term that they use because I was like, I never thought about it that way. Like it being like a rebate
Absolutely.
method.
Yeah,
That's
true.
good.
Y'all need to implement the rebate method.
I know.
Come on,
Yes.
friends. We need to implement the rebate method in our friendships. Okay, give a little, take a little.
Yeah.
That's good. And I think one other point before we move on too, I like how you said that you had conversations about things before, and at that point it's like she just, whoever they were, did not choose to listen.
Yeah.
Because I had the same thing with me. I didn't mention that, but yeah, it's like what can you do after a while? You got to do what's best
no
for
point
you.
of the conversation. I get
Mm-hmm.
it.
So I think it would be kind of fun while we're on that topic to kind of ask some, questions in regards to friendships, as far as some
Yes.
juicy questions,
Okay.
So Miss Shay Jovan,
Yes, girl. I'm here, honey.
do you feel like your circle of friends is getting wider or narrower as you get older?
So funny thing, I actually think my circle of friends is getting wider.
Okay.
And I say that because growing up and kind of feeling my way through life, I was very shy in terms of, I've always been outgoing and a social person, but in terms of like really letting people in, just based off of like being in my head on insecurities, not wanting to be vulnerable in front of people. And so now I really feel like, and I'm gonna be honest, like I think I realized that recently, and going through the transitional period in my life from being in such a long relationship to being single, like the number of people that were there for me during the very, very hard part in the beginning of everything was tremendous. Like I didn't even realize how many people like cared about my well-being, genuinely text me, hung out with me, like listened to me, was a shoulder for me to cry on. And I was like, wow, all this time, like I only thought I had like 3 friends, you know what I'm saying? But then I realized like I
got a good circle.
Yeah, I have a really good circle of people. So yeah, I think mine's has gotten wider for sure. Yeah, so V, I have a question for you. Is the quality of your friendships improving or deteriorating with time?
Good question. Honestly, I would say it is improving. It's
Okay.
improving because I'm improving.
Yes.
To be quite honest, I feel like we shouldn't always like burden ourselves, or we shouldn't burden other people with stipulations of friendships. The more I've gotten into things that I enjoy, a closer relationship with God, the more that I have created a circle and a level of energy that's so positive around me. There is no room for negative people.
Yeah.
Like the only thing God is constantly giving me is people that are like-minded, people that, really truly mean something. And really, I feel like the older I get, the less seasonal friends I'm getting too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
definitely.
Yeah. So I have a question for you, Miss Chelsea.
Okay.
So do you find that making genuine friends has become more difficult or easier as you've aged?
Yeah, so I think it's actually become a little easier because I know what my expectations are of a friend. And if I feel like you can't give that to me off the back, or if we're not vibing, then I mean, I'm not rude about it, but you kind of just know sometimes when that person is going to be like, okay, I can see us like really hanging out, being a friend, almost like a relation. Well, a friendship is a relationship, right? So I think I almost go into friendships now with the same mentality. Now, I have a couple people slip through that probably shouldn't have. Yeah. But, they end up being a seasonal friend. They don't make it into the lifetime friend. And the lifetime friend to me is genuine.
Right.
So, yeah, I feel like it's gotten easier because I know what my expectations are, or not even just a serious expectation, but the qualities that I look for in others. And I know what the type of friend that I am, and I want that to be reciprocated. So
so the last thing that we're going to talk about on the episode today, and I know this is like a juicy topic, and it's funny that I started off because I told y'all my story about how I ghosted my friend. But the age-old question, do you guys feel like men and women can be platonic? Can they really just be friends?
Ooh.
So I'm gonna spin it off with you, V. Tell me, like, what do you think about that?
Yes. I think guys and girls can be friends for sure. There's a couple things I feel like you need to kind of take into consideration. One being, what is the status of your relationship? I think it's important to include your significant other. They ain't got to be, at every dinner, in every 3-way conversation, listening in or anything like that. But they do need to have a level of understanding and feel comfortable with that other person that you're dealing with. And that person needs to be respectful as well.
That's a huge thing.
Then I would also say just, setting boundaries, of course.
Definitely.
What's okay, what's not okay, what would bother you, what wouldn't bother you. And then, making sure that that chemistry doesn't turn into something else. And if and when that person feels like it's transitioning to something that might be a little bit deeper, you might need to sit down and figure out if that needs to be, a friendship no more.
Right.
Because of course, I believe that chemistry does not have to be sexual by any means.
Nope.
Yeah.
However, I will say with chemistry comes the idea or wonderments that some people sometimes have of like, what would this look like if we was together?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then you start kind of forcing your own emotions and feelings on the friendship, and then it ends up splitting y'all up. You know what I'm saying? Because you're thinking one thing, and that person is not even on that wave. So just making sure if this is something platonic, making sure we're on the same page. If you're starting to have some weird feelings, like you gotta let me know, bruh.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I would have to say I vote yes. I think guys and girls can be friends, whether you're both single individuals, both of you are in relationships, or one of you is in a relationship, one of you is single. And I think it goes back to what you were saying, Dee. It's all about boundaries at the end of the day, and making sure that that friendship is truly a friendship. You guys are on the same page. You have respect for one another, know what lines to cross, and you just have an understanding of, where you guys lie in your relationship. And I think when you are in a relationship, whether both of you are, one of you are, it's just so important to make your significant other feel included now or inclusive in that relationship. And, to a certain extent, like to your story, Shay, there's only so much you can do. Sometimes, your significant other may have insecurities.
You gotta choose.
And that, and when it comes to that, and you got to really ask yourself, are these valid reasons? And if you feel like they aren't, maybe it's not worth cutting off a friendship for, but trying to figure out what type of compromise can be made with that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, I shouldn't have to compromise due to your insecurities if they're not really valid.
Yeah.
Now, if the person is coming on to me and they've done so in the past, then, that's a different,
Right.
scenario. But if you feel threatened only because this is a good friend of mine and because they were in my life before you were, then, I don't think that that's a valid reason.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree
So,
more.
Yeah. And I would say, of course, you guys know, yes, I feel like women and men can be friends. However, kind of to everybody's point, yeah, there is the biggest thing is the boundaries thing. And I've learned that through the example that I shared. I didn't share this part, but one of the things that kind of sparked up everything to lead up to me, ghosting this guy was me and my significant other at the time happened to be at a drive-in movie, and the guy that I'm speaking of, the friend, he called, and it was a little bit later than what my significant other had liked.
yeah.
But at the same time, he never did that before, so I didn't answer because I was like, okay, well, I'm hanging out with you right now. So, and then it was just like, well, what is he doing calling you that time of the night? In my mind, I didn't even jump to think anything sexual. I was just like, maybe something's wrong with him. Like, maybe he needs help, like something, maybe I should call him back or something. And I didn't end up calling him back, but that was the part where I said, again, I felt like I was kind of flawed in that because I didn't discover to see what that was. I just played into my significant others, I guess, I don't want to call them insecurities, whatever. We're just going to say the questions that were going off in his head.
And it could have been from past experiences that he's had, because, sometimes the way that you move in life is based off of things that you've gone through.
Right.
Like, there's always a root cause to people's actions.
Right.
Doesn't make it right.
Yeah. So I would say the biggest lesson I learned from, moving forward with me, starting to rebuild my friendship with some of the guys that were in my life prior to is understanding that boundaries piece. And I also think age plays a part in that as well.
Yeah, maturity level.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, for the most part, are pretty much like, they're not going to cross those boundaries if they know that your relationship is serious, or even if they just respect you as a person.
Exactly.
Right.
So, I feel like that's where I stand. Do you guys feel like your significant other should be your best friend?
Yes. I don't know. Yeah, straight up. Yes. I feel like my significant other, my fiance, my husband to be should be my best friend above everybody else. Second to God, of course. I think having that friendship foundation in a relationship is so important because at times when you choose not to like each other romantically, you have to have that friendship foundation to fall back on.
Yeah.
True.
And I want to be able to look at my significant other and be fully transparent with them, talk to them about literally everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. He should know the ins and outs of me. So yes, I think that my significant other should be my best friend.
Yeah, let me ask the other married woman in the room, like,
Who that, me?
what do you like? Do you think that as well? That your significant other should be your best friend?
I definitely agree with Chelsea for sure. But to piggyback off of some of our ideas that we shared earlier, you can have more than one best friend, people.
Yeah.
Newsflash, it's
Yes.
okay.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times some people are like, well, my significant other isn't my best friend because we don't share the same interests. I don't like playing video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steven can play video games all night, all day.
Yeah.
I can care less. And that's totally fine. He connects with certain people on that element. So he spends a lot of time with those people because that's something he enjoys doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, like you said, I do feel like you do need to fall back on the friendship at times when things are a little rocky.
Mhm.
And that's super duper important to establish that foundation of friendship. So
Yeah.
yes, they need to be in your best friend circle for sure.
Yeah.
Like we should be able to connect on a spiritual level, emotional level, physical level. All that goes into it. The same triangle that you have with a friend, you should have with your significant other and have that best friend foundation.
Yeah, I would definitely agree as well. I feel like from personal experience, if you don't have that foundational piece of a friendship, that is something that will definitely, that will hold together the respect when you're going through arguments, different things like that. I know from experience, I felt like that was one of the things that was missing for me. There was no friendship. We kind of just rushed into things. And so when things got bad, because we didn't have that foundation of a friendship, it's like that respect level was lost. So we was, doing things that or saying things that I wouldn't say to a friend, what I'm saying? I wouldn't say to my best friend. So I do agree with that for sure, 100%.
Ladies, I feel like our conversation was so good today.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Like, I just want to say, as far as like just some of my takeaways, and we can be very brief with this, is just, friendships are important at any level. It's about quality, not quantity.
Yeah.
So don't let there is, like Shay said, there is some strength in numbers. But, for people out there who don't have a lot of friends, me, it's okay. It's okay, sis. If you have 3 or 4 solid friends, that still counts and that still means a lot. As you grow, hopefully those friends will be friends for a lifetime. But, it's just overall, to me, important to establish what those friendships are, what you expect from your friends, and how to progress in the most positive light. So,
yeah, I would have to agree with you 100%, V. I think, the element of friendship is solely based off of where you are in your life at that point in time and how you operate socially. There's a lot of different elements that go into it. But at the end of the day, the biggest takeaway for me in this whole thing with friendship is really prayer is powerful. So having friends that will pray for you and having friends that will pour into you and that always think of your best interests. My thing is, I want to root, be my friends' biggest supporters, like root them on, and also be mindful of the situations or things that I may put, I don't want to put them in any situations because I know that a lot of the way that they have to think now is bigger than them. Not saying that I would, but I think I'm more intentional about that now. So as opposed to me inviting a single friend to this event versus, another friend, what I'm saying?
Think
There's
more
just
about
different
it.
things. Yeah, like, so that's the biggest takeaway that I would say for sure for me.
I would have to say that you guys really hit all the points when it came to friendships. I think if I had to have any takeaway, it would just be, can the guy and girls be friends? And I think the bottom line with that is boundaries and making sure that you're on the same page at the end of the day. And I think, one thing that I can appreciate about Derek, he has a lot of female friends, but from the very beginning, he introduced me to who they were. So it was never awkward when I met them. They were all loving and caring and welcomed me in with open arms. And it was a very like sister-brother relationship, but he made me feel very comfortable, which I think was just so important. But yeah, like you all said, it's just different levels to friendship, and it's all where you are in your life. And just make sure that you have people that surround you, the people that are surrounding you, that they are true friends and they really love and value, and it's a mutual relationship. So thank you for listening today, guys.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. But before we sign off, does anybody want to shout out anybody specifically?
I want to shout out my husband, Derek.
Hey, Derek.
No, thanks for being my best friend and my significant other.
Yeah, shout out to Derek for putting my couch together, though. Right?
Hey, he's a real one.
Good job. I just want to shout out my friends. Y'all know who you are, whether it's y'all are surface level or whether y'all are deep rooted. I appreciate y'all. I love you guys. Thank you for supporting me. And yeah. That's it.
Yeah, real quick for me, shout out to my besties, Twitty, Michelle, my sister, of course, and shout out to the Rest of Girls Tour. That's my travel squad.
Hey.
And also, last but certainly not least, like you guys. Thank you so much, friends.
Yes.
Like, I love you all. Oh,
Love
and
you,
shout out to
sis.
Dominique too. That's my new friend, but real quick, you know how you meet people and they're like, you hit it off instantly and you're like, that's Dominique for me. So shout out to you, boo.
Hey, girl.
Love you all, friends. If I didn't name anybody, which I didn't, besides Derek, but I still love you all so much.
All right, so let's do social media plugs, peeps.
Of course, you can find us collectively at Melanin _confidential.
That's right.
On IG. And then me individually, you can find me at Shay Jovan. So that's SHAYJOVN. And I am the thriftiest thrift girl. I'm still working on my slogan, but you know what it is.
Oh my goodness.
Nice. Well, this is V, you guys. Y'all can follow me at Frugal Fashion Collective. Yeah, I'm talking affordable luxury all day.
Hey, and this is your girl Chelsea. You can follow me at Chels_Janae, your budget-friendly travel queen.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our episode. We cannot wait to chat more with you in our upcoming episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, give us feedback.
Yes.
We appreciate you guys so much. We love you. And be good friends out there.
Yes.
Practice that rebate system.
Yes.
Woo!
All right, love you guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye.